there are so many reasons why I got into teaching.
One of the best things is the light bulb moment.
When you see a pupil suddenly understand something, that's really, really special.
Every child is so full of potential, and the thing that makes me proudest to be a teacher is seeing them realise what they are capable of.
I don't think any other job can give you the same satisfaction.
That's why I chose to teach.
You could get £26,000 tax-free to train. Search, apply to teach. Selected subjects only, subject to eligibility.
Ladies and gentlemen, podcasting since 2005 with over 3 million downloads. You are listening to Gamertag Radio with your hosts Godfrey, Pete Rock, Paris, Pasta. Come on.
All right, listening to Gamertag Radio episode 458. Wow, it's getting higher and higher, right? The episodes, man.
Running out of numbers.
Getting close to 500. Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, we're live here at the Assassin's Creed First Look Livestream event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is not a review at all.
Yeah.
We're just here hanging out and streaming the game.
Yeah, checking it out.
Fans have been watching it now for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And, have Paris. Paris, how are you doing, man?
I'm eating a Snicker bar and I'm watching the Twitch stream.
And also we have Patrick.
Hey, how you guys doing?
This is your first time playing the game, right?
It is, yeah. We got to see behind closed doors at E3, and I watched someone play it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is my first hands-on. I've gotten about solid 2 hours into it so far.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm enjoying it. I mean, it controls great. I gotta say, it was like a learning curve. It took me a while to get used to the way the parkour system has been redone. But once you get the hang of it, oh man, it feels way more... It feels so good to move around the environment. You don't feel like you're as restricted as you used to be. You don't get caught on corners as much.
Was there anything that stood out to you a lot, like while playing it for the first time?
The combat really has changed a lot. It is actually very difficult now. And the first time that you get executed by an enemy where they just ram their sword right through you and you're just one hit killed like that, it's like, whoa, this is no joke. I mean, you have to parry, you have to dodge, you have to be on your A game. You really should get in a fight with more than 3 people, honestly. And you feel like an assassin. The fact that you can now crouch walk is such a cool addition. I don't know what took them so long to get into it, but it feels more like a stealth assassin game as opposed to a one-man army kind of game in the past. But it just feels good. I'm the mindset of the Splinter Cell, the Metal Gear mentality. It's working out well. The game responds well to how I want to play. There seems to be a good variation of the missions. I messed around in actually, funny story, I thought I was playing a single-player mission earlier, and I got to a courtyard with 30 guys, and I'm like,
there's no way I'm going
to get through this. And I'm like, okay, die, come back. All right, let me slowly kill all 20 guys as slow as possible. And then it's like, oh, how do I get downstairs? And I was like, oh crap, I think I'm stuck. And then it turns out I was in a co-op mission for 4 people, and I had done it by myself, and I still needed other people to help me get through it. So
but that was a mistake.
It was a mistake on my part, but it's fun. I'm digging the style. I love the way Paris looks, the way it feels.
Paris right here.
Paris, #1 top city right here. Yeah. The best.
So Paris, I know you want to say a couple of things too, right? You were nodding the whole time. Yes.
Well, no. I was nodding because he mentioned that it was a learning curve for the controls when you first start out, which obviously the first time we played, what I was nodding my head about was the fact that Poston mentioned it took him a minute with the controls to actually get used to it, because during the preview event, that was my hiccup at first, was picking up the control scheme. But I'll say playing this time, right away, right in, no problem, and I'm actually playing it from the very beginning. Obviously, I won't go into spoilers or anything, but I'm playing from the very beginning of the game, going through the single-player campaign. Done a couple side missions as well. It's pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good. I mean, I'm definitely liking it. Like I've said in the past, I haven't been a big Assassin's Creed fan, but I'm digging this one. I really am. And not so much for what I like Black Flag for. I like Black Flag because I was a pirate. I'm liking this one because I'm an assassin, and I think that's a big difference.
Yeah, and he's right. It really does. How far they've come from the first one to this, it's just a great evolution of keeping that idea, but adapting it with the technology and responding to fan feedback and trying to make a better Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that because they're so... The things, if you played every Assassin's Creed like I have since the beginning, like you notice the small changes, but like they really did a good job this time around. What I was impressed with was the customization aspect.
Yeah, I know. I know that was the first thing you mentioned.
Yeah, I was at the start menu. I'm like, let me see what kind of weapons I got. And I was like, here's like a huge page list of weapons, and you have like swords and maces and spears, and you can have pistols and rifles. Like I was like, whoa, I did not expect all of these options for when I'm used to just having a sword, a dagger, and a hidden blade. But cool, you can just customize your character. Like
I can't wait for us to try out the co-op though.
Yeah,
co-op
I really am looking
very
forward to
interesting.
that. Did you guys ever play Tenchu Z last generation? It was a 4-player co-op
but
ninja
not
game.
Co-op though.
That was such a good underrated game that a lot of people looked over, but I'm getting the same kind of vibe from this, and it gets me really excited because cooperative stealth is really, really fun, and not too many games even bother to try to do that because it's probably a nightmare to try to design it. But we haven't tried co-op yet, but if it is as good as I'm imagining it is, and some of the gameplay I've seen other people play as,
yeah, we're going to be streaming it.
Yeah, this could be something I could be playing for quite a while because I love the idea of checking out the city with your friends and drop in, drop out, help each other out.
There's also an area where you could also play 2-player co-op missions. And I know you know more about that because you play, right, Paris?
Yeah, at the preview event, I did some of the 2-player co-op missions. It's pretty fun. It's the 2-player versus the 4-player. The difference, obviously, the difficulty is going to be a little lesser because you're doing 2-player. It's a more of a quick kind of mission versus doing the 4-player stuff is a more intricate, I can't even talk, but more detailed type of mission level where you're hitting certain checkpoints along the way. So it's a good variety, I think.
Well, that's good.
Then what about the city? So many people walking around, right?
Yeah, a lot of NPCs.
A lot. Way more than any other past
it's actually suicide
games.
to run on the ground because like you bump into so many people. And you would think that the guards in Paris would have some restraint when they're trying to kill you. They'll shoot into the crowd no matter how many people are in there and gun you down.
And they'll even push them.
Yeah, they'll
push them. Yeah.
And I can't believe like how the AI has improved so much from the previous games. Their line of sight is so almost human-like. It's still a video game, but like it's so much more improved than it used to be. It caught me off guard. Like I kept getting seen. I'm like, man, I never would have been seen from this distance in a previous game.
Because you're used to that.
I'm used to that. And I'm just like, I got to really think this. So like, for the first time, I had to like stop, slow down, and go into Splinter Cell mode to be like, I need to think about how I'm going to approach this because there's too many guys for me to take down. And they can, the snipers, they can one-shot you.
But you notice on top of there's like stars. If those stars are highlighted, that's the difficulty. So you probably seen some there's like maybe 2 stars, 1 star. If it's 4, you better run. They're tough.
Wow. I don't know. Usually a pistol to the face kind of solves any problem. And the pistol is very satisfying.
You said the mechanics changed a lot. Like what was the part that you liked the most from that? Like the fighting mechanics?
The fighting mechanic, the addition of the parry. Getting rid of the counter kill entirely, because that was just way too easy to abuse. You have to time your attacks now, and
and you have a lot of different options too.
Yeah, you have
way more.
All your gadgets and tools. You can kick people out of the way. You can incapacitate them temporarily to focus on one person. You can separate people. I'm pretty impressed by the variety of the combat. That was just me using like 1 sword and 1 guns. I can't imagine like how you can mix it up with all the additional gameplay features that I haven't unlocked yet in my playthrough. But it feels great. It feels like I'm actually in a sword fight for my life, and I feel like confident, but it's still like that threat of death is just like if someone gets behind you, you're gonna get a sword run through you. Simple as that, and like it totally changes how you approach Assassin's Creed games, and that's just it's so refreshing because like I'm such a big fan. Even if this game was just a carbon copy of the previous ones in Paris, I've been like, I'll still play it because I like exploring these cities, but it just feels so different compared to the past ones, and I really enjoyed the changes they made. It makes the game more fluid, more fun, just more engaging. It's not so much as get in, kill, get out. There's just so many options. Some of the places, like if you have to sneak into a building, it's kind of hard to find where to get in and get out. It's not glaringly obvious.
The best part though, because I'll go around the building and see if there's any windows open. Like this one mission that's like that we talked about during our Vegas trip. that you could hear like the crowd. And once I got closer to the window, the crowd got like louder. So it basically gave me a tip like, hey, you could go through here. There's an open window.
Very cool.
You know? So,
well, here's the one thing, and I know this definitely happens during the co-op missions, is those entrances that you're looking for, they're dynamic. You may have a window open. First time you go on a mission, you do it again, it's somewhere else. And there's multiple ways to get in and to get out as well, but it always changes up.
I did not know that.
I know.
That's
you know
very
that.
impressive.
That's the one cool thing that'll happen during co-op.
yeah, another thing too, like every time, let's say we all play the same missions, we're going to have different type of experience and ways to finish it. It's never the same, which I love. I love that part because, one mission I escaped on top, like through the window. Paris escaped on the ground, and I'm like, where was it? Because I couldn't figure that out because there was way too many enemies. So I found out a way to climb up. So that part I like, having that different experience.
Yeah, absolutely, and it definitely feels like you can play this game in your own style as opposed to the past Assassin's Creed where there's one way to win and one way to win only, and that's how you play. But this, like, there are differences between being a very stealthy assassin and being a brash combat fighter. Anywhere in between, you ranged with the ranged weapons.
What part do you see yourself doing the most? Do you see doing like the side missions a lot for this? I love because you know what it is. I like doing that because at the same time, like I finished Sunset Overdrive when I got the review copy, and after I finished it, I was like, damn man, I should have took my time playing that part and do more of the side quests. You know what I'm saying? Because once I finished all the side quests, all they had now is just challenges in the game. So
no, I can understand that.
I like to. This time, I'm probably gonna take my time with Assassin's Creed and do a lot of like side quests and also co-op missions too.
Yeah, because you are building a consistent character between all the modes, so there is incentive for not speeding through the story, because if you take your time and do co-op and alternate between single player and the side missions, you can level up and become even more powerful, get more money, take that into other modes. Yeah, I really like the way it's designed. So yeah, I want to see more variety in the missions. The ones I just saw was like assassination and like steal something. Okay.
We literally just got some feedback about our previous episode in right now, so I kind of want to side tangent and discuss this because, and this is from Darren, and I will just make it short and sweet. For those that don't know, I'm going to talk about the Halo Master Chief Collection. 457 we did a 457, right? Yeah. 457 we did a review on Halo Master Chief Collection. If you didn't listen to it, go listen to it now. But the reason I want to bring up this feedback, because it's fresh off the presses, is he sees where we're coming from in our review. We're very enthusiastic about it. We obviously really, really loved the game from what we got to play. But his complaint is he would rather have the studio put all their effort into creating a new IP and doing a new experience versus putting all their effort into a remake. My counter to that is they're doing Halo 5 next year, which is a completely new experience. It's the proper sequel to the Halo series. This is more of a love letter to all the Halo fans out there over the years and to get new people caught up on Xbox One leading into Halo 5. I get what he's saying, and I understand it, but 343 obviously contracted out a lot of this to like certain Infinity, Blur, did other things. So we can't necessarily sit here and say that 343 proper, this is all they've been working on. They've obviously been working on Halo 5 at the same time, and we're going to get the beta for that in December as well. Yeah, that's one of my point is different developers. You probably can't hear Danny, but he said different developers were working on it. So you can't fault a publisher like Microsoft and a studio like 343 wanting to take on such an ambitious project like this if, as he's saying in his feedback, they're also able to bring a new experience at the same time. So there's one thing for the feedback. I will return us back to our regularly scheduled programming, Assassin's Creed. So, Boston, any final things on Assassin's Creed you want to bring up?
I'm trying to think. I want to sit down and marathon it. Like I could see myself really spending a lot of time, because I mean, I love any open world game, but if you're packing that full of a good story and good combat, like the free run mechanic is really good now. Yeah, it's a really impressive package from what I've seen. Like, again, I've only played 2 hours, so grain of salt, but if you were burned by Assassin's Creed 3 or you just didn't like 4 because of the pirate mechanic, you should really try Unity, because it probably is the game that you wanted the past ones to be. Like, if you played the first one and thought it was the most repetitive thing in the world, and I won't defend it, yeah, this is the evolution of that idea. That first game was so brilliant when it first came out, and now here we are, and we've refined that idea down to razor edge.
You just brought up an interesting point. It's almost like Assassin's Creed 1 was a tech demo. And then they've obviously iterated on it, from what we've seen, and, here we are today with Unity. Again, I'm going to sidetrack it. Would you compare this to what Bungie's doing with Destiny? Would Destiny 1 be more of a tech demo, kind of let's get the world established, and then they go into the sequel and expansion packs beyond, is to actually make it a fantastically great game?
Yeah, I think so. I think they nailed, we can all agree, the controls are fantastic, the way the game handles. It's a great concept. Once they put all the content in, or even better, if they expand the world areas and add more variety in terms of what you're doing and missions wise, yeah, I think this is a start of something big. And, obviously they said they have a 10-year cycle for this game. They're very ambitious about it. But yeah, fundamentally, the game is fantastic to play. I would love if they're taking this as basically saying, let's introduce people to the idea of this concept. Obviously, if you've never played MMO before, you need to be introduced into the concept of dailies and weeklies and that kind of stuff. So if it hooks you there, and even if you run out of content, like I think Destiny has right now until the expansion comes out, I do agree with you, Paris, that they can take this somewhere great. They can take that concept, that gameplay, that idea, the wonderful universe they've built, the backstory in there.
Yeah.
It's going to go places. I have faith in Bungie that they will deliver on the promise that they unveiled to us 2 years ago. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. And I believe we're going to have a couple of interviews here. Hope you're ready for that, Paris. Yeah. Developers that want to sit down with us.
Yep.
Talk about the game.
But we already talked to all the developers in Las Vegas, so what could we possibly talk about now? No, I'm just kidding. No, it'll be fun. I will be looking forward to that if we get a chance to. Now, again, I'm the sidetracker here, so we've been kind of isolated because we've been here at the event, but BlizzCon has been going on at the same time as this event right now, and Blizzard has announced Overwatch, which is a shooter coming from them. They actually have a beta, which I just signed up for as we're doing this podcast.
Wow. Yep.
And it looks like it's incorporating some of Titan, which was their canceled MMO. So, again, I don't have all the information on this, so people might be yelling and screaming as I'm talking about this right now, but could this potentially be Blizzard's answer to what Destiny's doing?
We'll find out. We'll find out very soon.
I think it could be. I think it's either going to be that, or they could be going towards the competitive market. I mean, they've obviously nailed down things like Dota 2 and StarCraft as competitive, hyper-competitive games. So if they can make a merger into the shooter territory and it works, wow, I think they really could put some muscle behind this game and get it to the status that we see Dota and StarCraft in maybe a year. But yeah, I'm really curious. That was a surprise to me. I didn't think that they would go in that direction. I almost hope they've, kind of put some StarCraft Ghost in there, because I'm still a little salty that I never got that game all those years ago. So if they're finally going to make a shooter, I think they're going to throw in all the ideas they've probably been sitting on for quite a while. So, yeah, it's exciting.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a short break, and once we come back, interviews. I think Patrick should do the interview. Paris is right.
No, I actually, not to put any pressure on you, but I think that would be a good idea because, again, you're fresh to the game, so you're probably going to bring a different perspective on questions than you probably would have had previously.
Right on.
All right, man. So we'll be right back.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
What's up, Gamertag Radio? Paulston J here, live at the Assassin's Creed Unity Livestream event in California. And today I'm joined by a special guest. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name's Alicia. I'm team lead for programming of gameplay and AI in Assassin's Creed Unity.
Very cool. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks.
I'll pretty face this, get the bias out of the way. I'm a big fan of Assassin's Creed. Played every one since the beginning. I really enjoyed the evolution of the way the game has evolved. Break down what's your vision for Unity? Why did y'all decide to you're so successful with Black Flag and moving back into, in my opinion, more of a traditional Assassin's Creed style. What was your motivation for game design this time around? What kind of Assassin's Creed did you want to make?
Well, one of the big things that was a big motivation for us on this time around was the co-op. And basically, when we completed Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, one of the things that people really enjoyed playing was playing alongside other assassins. But these were just AI assassins. So it was at this point that the team was created with the intention of, all right, we're going to redo the engine so that we can have an Assassin's Creed that fully supports cooperative gameplay with other live players.
Yeah, very cool. And I got to say, if you played past Assassin's Creeds, there have been complaints of some, getting stuck on walls, the free running. It's not working how it's supposed to be working. I've only played 2 hours so far, but I am impressed by what y'all have done with the Parkour 2.0 system. Break down, what was your approach to that? What was the design philosophy?
Everything was completely redone for the free running. One, because we wanted to support co-op with the other assassins, but also we wanted to go for a complete different look for the assassin. So if you take a look at Arno, his styles are really, I would say he's a show-off a little bit with his free running. So he's got these little twists, these turns, these flips when he's doing his free running. So we really redid everything. We redid all of our animations, and it's a completely rewritten system in the game.
Yeah. And another big thing, combat has changed so much, and I'm so appreciative of it because I got to say, I was caught off guard. Yeah, I felt confident going to sword fights because I've played all Assassin's Creed before. I got my butt kicked. I mean, the first time you get a sword stab 3 and you're like, wow, I just totally lost that sword fight. It was impressive. Explain, what was the combat design like this time? Y'all got rid of the counter kill system. What were you trying to design this time around with the combat?
Well, for sure, you just mentioned, the combat is much more brutal this time around. And if you take a look, we have the new stealth system. So this is something that we wanted to be really important. So before running into a whole group of guards like you would have possibly done in previous Assassins, you really want to see who are the guards in front of me? What's their level of difficulty? Is there a way that I could get past this more stealthy? What tools can I use? So we really want the player to see what skills, what tools does he have, instead of just diving right in. So you can really make informed and intelligent decisions of, okay, I'm going to use a cherry bomb that's going to distract the guards. I'll go in, assassinate a few, and then at that point, then I feel I could take them on because there's less guards in that area.
Yeah, and I really do appreciate that y'all added the stealth mechanic because it does really make me feel more like an assassin. Like you said, I'm analyzing situations. I'm slowing down. I'm not used to that Assassin's Creed. I used to be running around being confident. But yeah, it's almost turned into a thinking man's game, almost like an active game of chess, and I really like that. What I like is the way y'all implemented the indoor areas this time around. Could you break down what was the design for that?
Well, basically, 1 every 4 houses that you see is a house that you could actually enter as an interior. And we felt that, 1, it's a really nice break for the free running. Instead of just always going up and down buildings, we wanted you to be able to traverse through it. And as well, when you're jumping, let's say, from outside and you dive right into a window, it's a great move that you get to see as well. At the same time, you get to see NPCs that are navigating, walking in and out of buildings, so it helps with the general ambience of making it feel like it's a real world.
I got another question for you, but can we introduce our new guest here?
Hi, I'm Philip Deschamps. I'm a producer on the ACU with Alicia and the rest of the team.
Okay, I have a question about AI. So this is a living, breathing, open world game, and things are going on whether you interact with them or not. So I had a scenario yesterday when I was playing where I was about to enter a building, but I noticed an NPC character spotted me and was going to attack me. But then a guard saw the NPC, they interacted, and the NPC character started running away, and the guard chased him. So can you kind of go into how the AI is working in the world and how that dynamic situations work?
To make the world feel alive and real, we wanted to go for a very systemic approach. So we created lots of different individual types of AI that spawn systemically, randomly in the world. So sometimes you'll be navigating, you see people that cross each other's paths, they come together, but then you might see someone in a distance and you'll have the icon pop up that says, kill the murderers. So these are these moments that are spawning, and at that point you'll see the crowd that gathers around it. They might start cheering, they might start rioting, and I think it's something that feels really natural because normally in previous games, the only time you'd see the crowd reacting is when the player did something. But now you see all these crowd members that are sometimes running away, sometimes attacking people, sometimes getting attacked. And it's not just because of what the assassin did. It's because it's a real ecosystem that's living and breathing. So that was really our purpose. We wanted the NPCs to have goals. We wanted them to have purposes and be aware of everything that's happening around them.
Question on level design and how mission objectives can change depending on what you do in the world. So I had a side mission where it asked me to go into Cathedral, and I think I had to steal these 2 gauntlets or something like that, right? So I played the game previously, so I'd already done a mission where I went into the Cathedral, I had to assassinate someone. So now, when I come to that scenario, I notice I didn't have to find a key to unlock a door to get in. The window was already open. So my question is, does side mission objectives change main mission objectives if you complete them?
Not necessarily, but sometimes you gain knowledge. There's actually also another mission within the Cathedral that exposes a secret passage that you probably haven't found yet.
Is it underground?
It's the underground.
I found it.
You found it afterwards.
Yeah,
all right. So you're ahead of it. But that option is actually also open for the kill in the Cathedral. So you can decide how to build your approach based on different mission. And you gain some knowledge of certain key areas that you can reuse in other missions afterwards.
And can you break down how are the missions designed? Are they all designed around the 4-player cooperative, or are there some missions that are specialized for 1 player?
Well, all the main narrative arc is for 1 player. Mm-hmm. So obviously all of that was centered around it. The co-op missions that we have in the heist are either designed around 2 or 4 player. The 4-player missions are usually much harder. They'll have a denser density of guards, and usually they'll also be looking at each other. So we position them so that if you kill 1 guard, like just by rushing at him in a 4-player mission, chances are there's going to be 3 other guards that were looking in that direction, and a fight's going to break loose, and they'll call in more guards and more guards. So you'll end up with like 20 guys fighting you. Even if you're with your 4 friends, it's probably going to be a tough fight. Depending on your gear, depending on the equipment that you have. So what we want is for the guys to say, okay, well, those patrols are moving around. If we're 4 and we coordinate at the same time, we'll be able to kill the 3 guys or 4 guys that are looking at each other to basically gain access to another doorway and keep moving while staying stealth and avoiding a huge open conflict.
Okay. And say you do get a big conflict like that, and say 1 or 2 of your buddies are killed. Are they dead for the rest of the mission? The other 2 have to complete it by themselves?
For the heists, you can't let any of the friends die.
Oh, okay.
So you have
That's a mission failure.
It's a mission failure. You have to restart. So you have to keep everyone alive. So either with health, either with one of the skills, it's called group healing. Mm-hmm. So whether if you're close by, you're going to heal everyone that's surrounding you. Or by revive if the person did get killed. But if he goes and dashes in the middle of a huge scene where there's like 20 guards shooting with their gun or snipers, it's going to be very hard to get him out of there. So we wanted to encourage the group, the co-op in that aspect. Mm-hmm. For the co-op missions, you can actually die. The players will respawn after 30 seconds. You can also revive them, or if like your partner is nowhere near, you can also bleed out to accelerate your respawn. If both players dies, you're gonna restart at the beginning of the act. So there's 3 acts. Those co-op missions are separated in 3 acts, and you'll restart at whatever act you were up to.
And you mentioned the heist, and I'm probably out of the loop, but could you break down a bit like what the heists are and how they're designed?
So the heists are actually either 2 or 4 player missions with usually an objective, and that objective can be random. Will be random. So the place or the loot that you're trying to go and get will not necessarily be at the same place every time. Also, some missions for 4 players, there's actually going to be 3 loots and only one's the real one. So sometimes you'll be really lucky, and the first try you're going to get the real one, and it's all right. You can head out. But sometimes it may take up to 3 tries to get it. So the mission's going to be much more longer. It'll take a lot more equipment. And since the heists are built around staying stealthy, your reward basically decreases every time that you get spotted. So you're encouraged to stay stealthy and have a very good approach. So if it takes up to 3 times to find your reward, chances are the reward is going to be lower at the end.
Gotcha. Okay.
I got a question. This is more because you guys are, producer in development. you've 3-4 years this game's been in development, something like that. So now that you're at the finish line and the game's out, it's gold. So in a couple of days, people are going to have it in their hands. Is that exciting for you? Is it nervous? Is it, oh my God, I hope everyone loves this type of game? I'm just curious what your thought process is.
Well, for sure, it's like the team puts so much effort, so much love. It's our baby that we like try to build for 4 years, and there's a lot of tears and sweat, good tears, but a lot of effort that goes into this. And we make it like it's our job to make this, but we're not in this industry for just like random reason. We're in there because we're passionate. Almost everyone are gamers, and we're trying to say we want to make the best game out there. There's definitely challenges. There's time constraints. There's budgets. There's a lot of things that get in your way to make that best game possible. But it's still a reality that when it comes out, we want to be proud. We're proud of what we made, but we want people to be happy and to enjoy the game experience. And obviously, that's not up to us at that point. Like, our job is done, and hopefully people will enjoy what we made. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, I would basically just say that every time the game comes out, like now it's Tuesday, everyone is gathered around and we're just doing F5, F5, F5. Refresh, seeing what anyone says. You'll see mass emails being sent out around the team saying, oh my God, did you see someone actually saw this part in it? And this is what they said about this and this feature. So I don't know. We're super, super nervous about it, but it's what we've been waiting for. Like some people for 4 years to see what fans finally think. And we hope people really like the game and give great feedback about it.
Finally, for me, what's the one thing you would want gamers to take away from Assassin's Creed Unity?
Well, again, I think since the co-op was really our big focus for this game, and it's something completely new. Like just earlier, we saw some guys playing for the first time the heists, and hearing the feedback, hearing them yelling, seeing their strategy. I can't wait to hear the stories and see some of the like live streams on Twitch or whatnot of groups playing co-op and finding how do they go about doing it, how do they use like stealth and their tools and all the weapons to find different ways to solve these missions.
I would definitely agree that co-op is like the key thing. Where we want feedback for sure. Like this is the thing that we make the games, and we want to make better games afterwards. So anything that the people basically play and say, oh, this could have been better, I would have liked to do this, or wasn't possible. Any positive feedback is something that we want to build onto. So the game is obviously much harder, like you experience the fighting, the stealth. Like we made a lot of changes to the core mechanics. We think the game is better for this. But we want feedback. This is what we're looking for. So we're asking gamers to say, okay, well, what did you like? What changes were positive? What changes were negative? And we're open to this.
Yeah, I guess too, because we talked about this before when we were at the preview event, but the rating system, can you kind of explain that and the importance of that to you on the development side?
It's actually super important. Through the games, we have something that's called DNA that tracks data from the game, and we collect it, and we can analyze, okay, how many people finish the entire game? What's the percentage of people? What's the rating of each mission, like you mentioned? So we can actually see, well, this mission was rated 3.6. Why was this one 3.6 compared to this one that was a 4.6? What were the key differences? Is it narratively more cinematic, so people thought, oh, this is a slower paced mission? Or was it that the gameplay was too buggy in the sequence? Was it the environment that was not as interesting? So we're able to try to deduce from this. It's a very important tool. I encourage people to use it because we can actually look at it and say, okay, well, this mission was definitely one of the low point. Why was it? And try to find out what didn't please the gamers.
That's good to hear too, because I guess I was following my question. Will you take that feedback and will you design? I know you've made no plans so far for downloadable content, but will you take that feedback and redesign basically some of the missions based on, people didn't like this aspect as much, but they really enjoyed certain aspects? How are you going to fine tune possibly working forward in this game?
Well, we have access to the balancing of every mission. Mm-hmm. So if we find that a death ratio for one of the particular mission is very high, we can always patch that mission to say, okay, well, the guards are going to be lower difficulty. or we can make changes to the economy, lower the prices of Hell Potion or things like that. So if we have a lot of access to patching certain data, and that's what we try. Like, obviously, we've been doing playtests for the game since August. I think we started. And on a daily basis, we have people coming in the studio in Montreal, in Paris, in Toronto, playing the game, giving us feedback, trying to see, okay, what were the places that they had issues, so that we can try to balance the economy, the difficulty, to make sure that the experience that we deliver is the best possible. But from there, like, once it's out, like, it goes from a playtest of like 16 to 64 players to playtest of like million of players. So obviously the data that we're receiving it's huge data, and you try to figure out, okay, what's the good from the bad in all of this.
Very impressive. I've liked what I played so far. I only played a little bit, but I cannot wait to try it out. Thank y'all both so much for talking with us. I wish you the best of luck in the game. I cannot wait to play it. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Unity, exceptional game, I got to say.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so that was an interview with the developers of Assassin's Creed Unity. Shout out to the whole Ubisoft crew, Stone in there.
Danny didn't say nothing in the whole interview.
Oh, my God, you're an old guy. So yeah, shout out to Ubisoft, Stone, everybody that invited us to the event. We had a blast, and we also got a chance to stream the game and talked with our viewers there, our listeners, everybody. Shout out to who else? Who else I got to shout out, man? Pete Pete. Shout out to Pete, man.
Pete's supposed to be here, and Pete didn't come, so no, he don't get nothing.
All right, he get nothing. All right, whatever, it's cool. All right, guys, head over to gamertagradio.com and post your comments and feedback. Listen to our past episodes of GTR. Email us fanmail@gamertagradio.com or give us a call 786-273-7GTR. That's 786-273-7GTR. Until next time, we are out live from the city of Burbank. Later.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Tune in next week.